It was Ethan Hale's birthday. I caught his secretary slipping into his office dressed head to toe in black, a bundle of ropes in her hand. I confronted her on the spot, warned her off, and called the police. Panicked, she fled down the stairwell and fell to her death. Ethan buried the story entirely, citing damage to the company's reputation as his excuse. A year later, on our wedding night, he blindfolded me and said he had a surprise. Instead, he dragged me to the exact spot Lila Bennett had died. It was her death anniversary. "You killed the woman I loved," he snarled. "You deserve to rot for it." That was when I learned the truth. They'd been planning a kinky roleplay session that night. And so, on my wedding night, Ethan Hale tortured me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on his birthday. This time, I said nothing. I simply watched Lila walk inside. Ethan turned to me, wearing that familiar apologetic smile. "Vivian, thank you so much for putting this birthday party together for me. So many old friends showed you it means a lot. I just pulled an all-nighter at the office last night, and my head's killing me. You go entertain everyone for a bit." "Yeah, I'm gonna head up and rest for an hour. Then I'll come back down." Every word was exactly the same as my last life, even the furrow of his brow. The tired way he rubbed his temple, nothing had changed. The whole company had been let out early yesterday for a team-building retreat. The building had been empty. What meeting was he possibly talking about? Last time around, I'd been so in love with him that one complaint about a headache scrambled my brain entirely. I'd completely forgotten about the retreat. Even when I remembered later, I'd never suspected a thing. I'd brushed off all the office gossip, written it off as jealous nonsense. Not until our wedding night, when he'd strung me up in that stairwell and hurt me over and over, did I finally understand. That night had been their little game. Lila wasn't just his secretary, she'd been his underclassman back in college. The quiet girl who'd followed him for years. They'd been inseparable. She'd gotten 2 abortions for him. They'd promised to marry each other after graduation. All of it had been kept secret. His parents didn't know. Mine didn't either. When I came home after finishing my degree his parents set us up. He'd chased me relentlessly when we were younger, called me the one that got away. He'd taken over the grandest commercial skyscraper downtown, spent millions on a grand public proposal. He'd lit up the sky with fireworks on my birthday, just to hear me say yes. He'd cried at our engagement party, blubbering that he'd love me forever. But in his mouth, all of that became my fault. I was the villain who'd torn him and Lila apart. He loved my ambition, loved that my family's money could save his failing company, and he loved Lila's sweet, innocent act, loved how wild she was in bed. Thank God for this second chance. This time, he would pay, 1,000 times over. Just like before, I didn't call him out. I put on that same worried look I'd worn last time. "You promised me you'd take better care of yourself once the company went public. No more all-nighters. Why are you pushing yourself so hard? This is the last time. Okay, no exceptions. Want me to walk you up to your room?" I watched his face closely, every micro-expression, every tiny movement, just like last time. He shook his head. "Nah, you go make sure all our friends are having a good time. If I wake up early enough, I'll call you. We can all grab late-night snacks together." Good. Only I had come back. I smiled and nodded. "All right, go rest. I've got everything down here under control." Ethan said a quick hello to a few of his closest childhood friends, then turned and headed upstairs. Most of the guests were his inner circle, others were high-profile business partners. Even at his most reckless, he knew better than to disrespect a party this important. Layla was laughing and chatting with the crowd, but her eyes never left Ethan. The second he was gone, she slipped into the bathroom and changed out of her white dress into a sleek black pantsuit. This time, I didn't follow her out of concern. I just smiled, tapped my spoon against my champagne flute, and waited for every eye in the room to turn to me. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate Ethan's birthday. I'm afraid he's been working far too hard lately, and he's had to step away to rest for a little while. But I have a surprise for all of you. A fireworks show, in 10 minutes. I'll lead everyone up to the rooftop to watch." Excitement rippled through the room. No one turns down fireworks. Last time, I'd planned a fireworks show tour, our blue fireworks, custom ordered 6 months in advance at enormous cost. But after Lila died, even with the story buried, I'd felt guilty and called the whole thing off. This time, the fireworks are going off no matter what. The bigger the audience for this little show, the better. 2 minutes before we were set to head up, I frowned and pulled the head of security aside. I just saw someone dressed all in black sneaking upstairs. Looked suspicious. Ethan's private suite is up there, and he keeps all his confidential files in there. Could you take your team up and check it out? Could be corporate espionage. Could be worse. This sort of thing was common in high-end business circles. The security captain's face went serious at once. Of course, Ms. Thorne. We'll sweep the entire floor. Nothing gets past us. I nodded. Satisfied, I watched them head up. Smoothed my hair and my dress, then gracefully led the entire party toward the rooftop. With so many people, the elevators would take forever. Naturally, we took the grand spiral staircase, and right on cue, we came upon the security team unlocking the door to Ethan's suite. A woman's high, breathy moan drifted out immediately. Ah, Ethan, slow down, I can't take it. You're so bad, she purred. Your fiancé and all your friends are right downstairs, and you're still playing cosplay with me. Aren't you scared we'll get caught? Ethan's voice was low, rough with excitement. Quit acting like you didn't send me that video of you with no panties on. You wanted this. Relax. They're all drinking and dancing downstairs. Vivian's got everything handled. You worry about you. My birthday wish is to fuck you senseless, baby. The mansion had excellent soundproofing when the doors were closed. With the door cracked open, every word carried straight down the staircase. The crowd had been murmuring and laughing just a second ago. Now they went dead silent. Feet stopped mid-step. The security captain froze, his hand still on the doorknob. Every single head turned to look at me. This was my Oscar moment. First, I went still, like I couldn't process what I was hearing. Then my fingers tightened around my dress. Trembling, my eyes glistened. I bit my lip, like I was talking to myself. No, that can't be right. That's not him. Then I ran forward and threw the door wide open. Footsteps thundered behind me. Everyone followed. There they were, 2 naked bodies tangled together in front of the full-length mirror. I screamed, sharp and furious. Ethan, Layla, what the hell are you doing? No wonder they hadn't heard us coming. Incense burned in the corner. Soft saxophone music filled the room. The whole place reeked of sex and cheap romance. Ethan was right in the middle of it when he heard my voice. He snapped his head up, saw the crowd packed in the doorway, and went soft instantly. He scrambled for his clothes to cover Lila, but there was nothing within reach. He had to yank a curtain off the rod to wrap around them both. Vivian, listen, this is a misunderstanding. I can explain. His voice was shaking. I marched right up to him and slapped him, hard, again and again until his face swelled. My fresh manicure split the corner of his mouth. He looked pathetic. I was shaking with rage. Don't lie to me. I can see it with my own eyes. Do you think I'm blind? How dare you, Ethan, when your company was drowning. My parents sold off land and took out bank loans to save you. I spent 3 months planning this party, tracking down all your old friends, just to make you happy. You wrote me love letters every single day for 9 years, all through elementary and middle school. When I came home, you got down on one knee in front of the whole city and told me you loved me, that you'd dreamed of marrying me your whole life. We've only been engaged 6 months, and you're already cheating on me. You're not a man, you're an animal. It was exactly the sort of thing a woman who'd just caught her fiancé cheating would say. Ethan hung his head, too ashamed to speak. Eleanor Hale, his mother, turned bright red with embarrassment. Vivian, honey, this is all Ethan's fault. He's disgraced all of us. You can yell at him. You can punish him however you want, just don't make yourself sick over this. Please. I didn't answer. I just stared at the floor and cried harder. My mom, Margaret, pulled me into her arms. Furious on my behalf, Eleanor could tell I wasn't backing down. She wouldn't hit her own son, so she grabbed Lila by the hair and started slapping her hard, screaming between each hit. You knew he was engaged. You threw yourself at him, you shameless little tramp. I know exactly what you are. You're just after his money. You'd sell your own body for $1. I ought to call your parents and ask them how they raised such a disgrace of a daughter. Lila panicked at that. Don't call my parents. Eleanor slapped her again. Harder. Ethan opened his mouth like he was going to beg for her then thought better of it and said nothing. And I thought he loved her. Turns out he's even more of a coward than I thought. What a joke of a man. Lila knew Eleanor was just putting on a show to calm me down, so she threw herself to her knees in front of me. Hard. Ms. Thorne Vivian, I'm so sorry. This was all my fault. I couldn't help myself. I seduced him, but it was just one mistake. I never wanted to ruin your relationship. I'll quit tomorrow. I'll never show my face around any of you again. Please. Just talk to Mrs. Hale. Don't tell my parents. They're just hardworking people from a small town. They worked their whole lives to put me through college. If this gets back home, they'll never live it down. I'll be disowned. You're a woman too. You wouldn't be that cruel, would you? She'd always thought I was nice, easy to push around. Even the side chick thought she could guilt trip me. My mom was livid. Are you kidding me? You have the nerve to play the victim here. If you'd cared even a little that he was engaged, if you'd had any self-respect, none of this would have happened. Everyone pays for their choices. Lila didn't say anything. She just prostrated herself on the floor, bowing again and again until her forehead pressed to the carpet. No one stopped her. They were all betting I'd soften up and forgive Ethan. I pressed my lips together, my brow furrowed like I was struggling with the decision. Really? I was just trying not to laugh. I had zero sympathy for a woman who knowingly chases an engaged man. She brought this on herself. I let her grovel for a good long while before I finally spoke. Stop. I forgive you. Layla froze mid-bow. A tiny smirk tugged at her lips. Ethan and his pa. Rents exchanged a look smug. Like they'd won. They'd bet on my kindness. And they thought they'd called it. My parents looked hesitant. They didn't agree. But they didn't stop me either. They always let me make my own choices. Ethan jumped in immediately. Desperate to lock this in. Vivian. I swear I'll be better. I'll never hurt you again. You have my word. I gave him a bitter little smile and shook my head. No, I can't trust you anymore. I feel like a complete fool. Tomorrow I'm running a full-page announcement in every major paper. The engagement's off. I'll give back all the family stock you gave me when we got engaged. And you'll return everything my family gave you, the beach house, the cars, all of it. Our parents can still be friends. The business deals won't change. That's the last thing I'll do for you. After that, we're done. I turned and walked out. Fireworks exploded behind me, bright and loud, drowning out whatever Ethan and his parents were shouting. Somewhere in the crowd, someone started clapping. Then everyone joined in. Cheering for the fireworks. Cheering for Meffer walking away clean. The next day, every major paper ran the story of our broken engagement. I also dumped all my Hale Corporation stock on the open market. Half the people who'd been at the party followed suit. They'd been Ethan's friends once. Now they were mine. My speech the night before had painted him perfectly. An ungrateful bastard. The worst kind of business partner. And in this world, no one wants to do business with someone like that. Hale Corporation stock, which had been riding high, crashed overnight. $17 billion in market cap vanished in a single day. Ethan panicked. He showed up at my office with 999 red roses. Vivian, it's our 3-year anniversary. I rented out the top of the revolving restaurant for us. Candlelit dinner. Just like you like. I remembered you said your grandma loves jade jewelry. My mom tracked down this incredible heirloom emerald cabochon pendant at auction. It's flawless. She'll love it. I'll bring it tonight. Okay, a stone like that. Easily worth a cool 100 million. He was pulling out all the stops. Too bad the only thing I want from him is his ruin. Sorry. I'm swamped at work today. I don't have time for dinner. I handed him the stack of stock certificates and property deeds he'd given me at our engagement. Perfect timing. Actually, you can take these back now. Saves me the trouble of having my assistant drop them off. When are you going to return my family's shares? Ethan started begging. Vivian. Please, just give me one more chance. Last night was a mistake. Lila seduced me. I already fired her. After everything we've been through. After all the years I loved you. You can't just throw it all away. Yell at me. Hit me. Do whatever you want. Just don't leave me. His handsome face was streaked with tears. His amber eyes were full of grief. Any other woman would have caved right then and there. I just pulled out my phone and took a picture of him. His face twisted in panic. Vivian, what are you doing? I laughed softly and put my phone away. You just said I could do whatever I want. Right. So I think I'll post this on my Instagram. Tell everyone what you did. Let the internet vote on whether I should forgive you. Sound fun? Absolutely not, he shouted. Vivian, you'll ruin me. I shrugged, like it was a shame. Guess that's your choice. Then, I've got a big meeting that'll run 5-6 hours. You wanna hang around here all day? Be my guest. I grabbed my files and walked out. Ethan was furious. Red in the face, jaw tight. Vivian, are you really not gonna give me another chance? I glanced back at him, cold as ice, like he was already dead to me. No. When I got back to my office after the meeting, Ethan was gone. He'd left the 999 roses behind. I told my assistant to pass them out to every woman in the office 2 each. Free flowers are free flowers, no matter who they're from. Once that was done, I leaned back in my chair and got to work, editing the 15-minute security footage I'd pulled from the hallway down to a tight 3 minutes. Faces blurred just enough. Lila was useless. I'd handed her the whole stage last night and she'd fumbled it. Couldn't even lock him down. Fine, I'd give her a hand. 30 minutes later. The top 3 spots on every social media trending chart were ours. Billionaire caught having wild sex with his secretary. Thornegru Ferris dumped her fiancé and we love her. Blue fireworks are stunning. The comment sections exploded. People dug up every detail on Ethan and Lila. Someone even made a SI. Debbie-side comparison of me and her education, height, career, everything. I won across the board, and the way I'd walked away, clean, no drama, no begging. People went crazy for it. I was being called the queen of clean breakups. The Hale family put out statement after statement, calling it all lies, threatening lawsuits. They'd never thought Lila was good enough for their son. No money, no status, and now she was a national joke. The richer the family, the more ruthless they are. Kids get all the perks, but they have to play by the rules. That's why Ethan had kept her a secret all those years. Well, if that's how it was, I'd just make sure they had no choice but to accept her. I hired a private investigator. He dug up everything. Hotel receipts from high school, college. Dozens and dozens of pages of them. Sex tapes, parking lot hookups, fitting room quickies at the mall, movie theater makeouts that went way too far. If they were bold enough to do cosplay in the middle of his birthday party. Of course they were freaks behind closed doors. Hale Corporation's lawyer letter became a national joke. I paid to push the story even further. Soon everyone in the country knew about it. Under that kind of pressure, Ethan's parents had no choice but to get on board. Better to say it was true love than to admit their son got caught cheating with his secretary. So they held a press conference. Ethan and Lila stood there, hand in hand, looking sickeningly sweet. I'm sorry for taking up so much public attention. I'm here today to set the record straight on the false rumors circulating online. Ethan said, my relationship with Vivian Thorne was an arranged business match set up by our parents. We ended things a long time ago. There was no cheating. We will be taking legal action against anyone spreading these lies. And I'm happy to say I'm finally marrying the woman I love, Lila Bennett. Our engagement party is in 2 weeks. A lot of people might think Lila is just an ordinary girl. But to me, she's the sun. She's kind. She's warm. She pulled me out of the darkest time of my life. She's my salvation. I love her more than anything. It was a perfect narrative, tailor-made for the public. The devoted rich heir and the kind, ordinary Cinderella. A story of mutual love and mutual salvation. Catnip for the tabloids. And just like that, their stock shot right back up. Of course, it only went up after they'd returned every last thing my family had given them plus that 9-figure emerald pendant as an apology gift. If they hadn't, I would have crashed that press conference so hard. My mom stroked my hair, worried. Sweetheart, you didn't have to back down just because we're friends with them. You've been through so much. Your dad and I worked this hard so you'd never have to put up with anything like this. I sighed. Patient. Mom, I've told you 100 times. I'm not upset about it. I backed down because the payout was worth it. Yeah, we bailed them out once. But they bailed us out too when we made that bad investment. All our deals are mutually beneficial. Business comes first. Their settlement was more than fair. And all this attention. Our new product line blew up overnight. We're lapping the competition. And personally, Ethan's a laughingstock now. Half his own board is already against him. Running that company is gonna be a nightmare for him. I didn't say the rest out loud. My end goal wasn't just to hurt him. It was to take Hale Corporation for myself. 2 weeks later, Ethan and Lila rented out the fanciest hotel in the city for their engagement party. I got an invitation. Of course, usually I dress sharp. All power suits and cool confidence. Tonight I wore a slinky silk gown. Elegant and devastating. Every head turned when I walked in. Ethan's eyes went wide. He looked stunned. I smiled. Cool and polite. Congratulations. I wish you both every happiness. Lila stepped forward, planting herself right in front of him. Smug as anything. Thanks, Vivian. We really appreciate it. It's so sweet of you to step aside. If it weren't for you, we never would have gotten our happy ending. Night and day from the girl who'd been on her knees begging for mercy just 2 weeks prior. I raised an eyebrow. Amused. Don't mention it. As long as you two are happy. I turned and glided into the ballroom. Lila was nothing to me. Less than nothing. If it hadn't been her, it would have been someone else. 100 someone else's. But she decided to make me her enemy. Stupid girl. I went to the ladies' room to touch up my lipstick. She followed me right in. She flashed her 10-carat pink diamond ring at me, preening. Isn't it pretty? Ethan picked it out just for me, 'cause I love pink. And I wanted a modern romantic wedding. So he told his mom no stuffy traditional one. He'd stand up to anyone for me, even his own family. I'm not saying this to brag, or to be mean. I just want you to know. It's over between you and Ethan. I'm his fiancé now. I'd appreciate it if you kept your distance. I finished touching up my lipstick, closed the tube, and laughed. Wow, Ethan really is cheap. Huh, he just gave you the ring I gave back. And if he really loved you, he'd fly you to some 1,000-year-old castle in Europe to get married. Once, I said I liked island getaways, and he bought me a whole private island. Don't worry, I'm sure he'll give you that too, eventually. But hey, speaking of distance, you should probably talk to him about that. Oh, and I got something to show you. I pulled out my phone and showed her the pictures of him crying in my office, begging me to take him back, roses and all. Lila's face turned bright red with rage. She'd come in here to get her revenge, to make me feel small, and I'd just completely owned her. I smiled, driving the knife in a little deeper. Stop treating me like I'm some rival you have to beat. I don't waste time on garbage I've already thrown out. If you want to keep him, worry about all the other women. If he cheated once, he'll cheat 100 times. Lila snapped. She forgot where we were entirely, and screamed, Vivian Thorne, you bitch. Ethan doesn't love you. He only wanted you for your money, for your family's connections. He told me he hates you. He says you're a cold, boring workaholic. No man could ever love someone like you. She yelled so loud everyone in the hallway heard her, including Ethan, who'd been right around the corner talking business. He stormed over and grabbed her arm. Hard. That's enough. Layla, shut up. Then he turned to me, apologetic. I'm so sorry, Vivian. I smiled. Perfectly calm. It's fine. She must have had too much to drink. It's cute. Honestly, the contrast couldn't have been clearer. Everyone there saw it. I spent the rest of the night schmoozing, poaching 3 major new tech and research deals right out from under him. The future was green energy. Hale Corp had been smart enough to invest in it early. Last time around, I'd figured we'd get married eventually, so there was no point competing. This time, I wasn't just getting a piece of the pie, I was getting a seat at the table. Up on stage, Ethan got down on one knee and poured his heart out to Lila. Down in the audience, I walked away with his entire future. 3 days later, Ethan showed up to the conference room bright and early, suited up, ready to sign the battery tech deal. They'd spent half a year on it, millions of dollars, endless meetings. He waited all day. The partners never showed. He saw the news the next morning. Me, at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, shaking hands with the very same partners. He called me, furious. Vivian Thorne, what the hell is wrong with you? You knew that green energy project was the future of my company, and you stole it. You're the one who called off the engagement. I gave you everything you asked for as compensation. What more do you want? I laughed, sharp and cold. If it's profitable, I'm gonna go after it. That's what business is. Or did you think I was running a charity? I let you have that project once because I loved you. Now I'm taking it back because I'm not an idiot anymore. Ethan was seething. I'll give you the 2 West Side development plots. Just give me the project back. You know how hard I worked on this. 6 months. This is my shot to prove myself to the board. Those old bastards already hate me. This is everything. Vivian, you can't do this. You'll ruin me. I scoffed. Survival of the fittest. Do I really need to explain that to you? You didn't get ruined by me. Ethan, you got ruined by your own stupidity. I hung up, blocked his number, deleted his contact. Done. Ruining him was just the appetizer. The real show hadn't even started yet. Losing that green energy division gutted Hale Corporation, like a fish out of water, like a bird its wings clipped. They'd survive, sure, but they'd never thrive again, after that fiasco. Ethan was kicked off the board. The golden boy heir became a national joke, the idiot who couldn't keep it in his pants. He'd ridden my family's coattails to the top. Now he was crashing twice as hard. Lila had it even worse. Eleanor blamed her for everything, called her a jinx, a curse on the family. She picked fights with her non-stop, made her life miserable, turned every little thing into a screaming match between her and Ethan. And every now and then, I'd post a picture: new car, new jewelry, new designer bag, and said it so only Lila could see. So she started shopping, spending sprees, just to get back at him. She was the future Mrs. Hale, right? She could sign for anything. No card needed. The fighting got worse. The whole house was a war zone. Every once in a while, I'd tip off a paparazzi about another Hale family scandal, always with a little mention of my company's new line. Saved us a fortune in marketing. My dad, Arthur, had always been a serious, quiet man. Now he was all smiles everywhere he went. Bragged about me non-stop. Vivian's incredible. We worked on that shipping project for 2 years. Couldn't get it off the ground. She takes over, 2 months in. And we've got 3 new routes, 7 new international offices. 1 minute she's pouring billions into green energy 'cause she says it's the future. Next she's building this whole influencer e-commerce hub 'cause she says that's how kids shop now. And it works. All of it works. It's a person's world now. Me and her mom are gonna retire in a couple years. Travel the world. All the family friends ate it up. Equal parts impressed and jealous. Vivian's the best of her generation. Smarter than both of you put together. If my boy was half as capable, I'd die happy. Yours at least works hard. Stays out of trouble. Better than that Hale kid. Anyway, God handed him everything on a silver platter and he threw it all away. Tell me about it. Everyone always said marry someone your own class. Or at least someone decent. Now look at them. That girl's torn the whole family apart. They said it loud enough for Harold and Eleanor Hale to hear. Standing just a few feet away, their faces went pale, then red, then pale again. They used to run in these circles. Insiders, decision makers. Now they're begging for investments, taking out loan after loan, barely keeping their heads above water. No one wants to do business with them anymore. I don't go to many parties these days. I don't have to. The good deals come to me, but I still show up to the occasional charity gala. And of course, I ran into Ethan there. He didn't bring Lila. She was a joke now. Crass. Entitled. No class. I sat at the head table. Every mogul in the room stopped by to say hello, to toast me. I commented on one woman's necklace. And 3 different young heirs started bidding on it just to impress me. One of them even outbid everyone, no matter the cost. Ethan stood across the room, watching me. His eyes were soft, full of regret. It made the front page the next day. My photo was everywhere. Stunning. Untouchable. I paid to push the story even further. And I leaked those old love letters he'd written me, too. Page after page of him gushing about how much he loved me. Lila lost it. Of course, she showed up at my office screaming, trying to cause a scene. Security didn't even let her in the building. Ethan showed up too, carrying that old stuffed animal I'd given him once. I didn't let either of them in. Equal opportunity gatekeeper. They got into a huge fight right there on the sidewalk. Almost came to blows. Shame. Next time I'll tell security not to break it up. But they didn't disappoint me. The same night, Lila went to an upscale gentleman's club and rented a whole lineup of male escorts. Got blackout drunk. Ethan went to a bar with his new deadbeat friends. Perfect. I wasn't gonna let an opportunity like that go to waste. By the next morning, photos and videos of both of them cheating were all over the internet. Ethan and Lila filed for divorce. He tried to leave her with nothing, walk away with absolutely zero. Lila wouldn't have it. She started spilling everything: tax fraud, bribery, kickbacks on construction projects, even that Harold had been keeping a college student as a mistress. Wow. Foolin' dog infighting, every last one of them. When the stockholders saw that, they dumped every share they had. At any price. Better to take the loss than get wiped out entirely. I bought it all up. Cheap. Even a fallen giant still has deep pockets. Everyone knows that. The whole mess dragged on for 2 months. In the end, Harold Hale went to prison. Eleanor had a stroke and ended up paralyzed. The company ran out of money entirely, and I bought it. Ethan and Lila got their divorce. Sure, but there was no money left to split. The Hale family was broke, drowning in debt. Lila didn't waste any time. The second the divorce was final, she hooked up with a rich older businessman and became his side chick. Went right back to her comfort zone. She even started posting online, trash-talking Ethan, said he was terrible in bed, couldn't keep it up. All that. Ethan lost his mind. He paid a couple of petty street thugs to go scare her, teach her a lesson, and just like last time, she ran from them down a stairwell, and fell, died on impact. The thugs rolled on Ethan immediately. He got 5 years for soliciting assault. How perfect. Father and son, reunited behind bars. Ethan wrote me letters from prison, begged me to pull strings to get him out. The pages were smudged with tears. I didn't answer. I told my assistant to save them all. Good for a laugh when I'm having a bad day. What I never saw coming was that he'd gotten a on chance too, that he'd also been reborn, with every memory of that last life intact. When begging and apologizing got him nowhere, he switched straight to threats. Said if I didn't pull strings to get him out, he'd kill me the second he was free. Said this was all my fault. So what if he cheated? Every man cheats. Why did I have to ruin his whole life over it? Said I'd destroyed him, and he'd destroy me right back. I laughed out loud when I read that. I told my assistant to make a few calls, make sure he was well taken care of inside. I'd been planning to wait until he got out, to show him what real suffering felt like. But if he was in such a hurry, who was I to deny him? 3 years later, he got out early. His body and mind were both broken. He got out on medical parole. He had no money for doctors, couldn't even afford painkillers, and he owed everyone money. He died alone in a rundown rental apartment. They didn't find him for a week. The place reeked. Rats had gotten to him. Maggots crawled over his body. His face was twisted in agony. They said he'd died screaming from the pain. Well, he deserved every second of it.